What's up, everybody? This is Read the Bible with me. I'm Stan Jr., and today we're looking at chapter 38 of the book of Genesis. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and if not, hang around a while. I think you will. Also, I want to thank my patrons, all those people that make this possible by giving $1, $5, $10, or whatever you give. Thank you so much. If you'd like to become a patron and support this ministry, click the link in the description box. Now, we're looking at chapter 38, verse 1. Let's see what God has for us today. It says, "It happened at that time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned aside to a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. There Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. He took her and went into her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. Yet again she bore a son, and she called his name Shelah. Judah was in Chizib when she bore him, and Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, 'Go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of a brother-in-law to her, and raise up offspring for your brother.' But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his. So whenever he went into his brother's wife, he would waste the semen on the ground, so as not to give offspring to his brother. And what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death also. Then Judah said to Tamar his daughter-in-law, 'Remain a widow in your father's house, till Shelah my son grows up,' for he feared that he would die like his brothers. So Tamar went and remained in her father's house. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died. When Judah was comforted, he went up to Timnah to his shepherds, he and his friend Hira, the Adullamite. And when Tamar was told, 'Your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep,' she took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil, wrapping herself up, and sat at the entrance of Enam, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown up, and she had not been given to him in marriage. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she covered her face. He turned to her at the roadside and said, 'Come, let me come into you,' for he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. She said, 'What will you give me, that you may come into me?' He answered, 'I will send you a young goat from the flock.' And she said, 'If you give me a pledge until you send it.' He said, 'What pledge shall I give you?' She replied, 'Your signet on your cord, your staff that is in your hand.' So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose and went away, and taking off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood." So let's just stop right there for a minute. This is a classic story of acting on your emotions when they're high. You should not act on your emotions when they're high. Wait and let them come down. Give it a minute, and they will come down. They're designed to go up and down. You got to wait till they come down before you make a decision. Because if your emotions are high and you try to make the decision then, you're probably going to make an irrational decision or an extreme decision, right? It's not good to make extreme decisions while you're emotional, because you will regret and will have to deal with the consequences of that decision you make. God has designed our emotions to show us how to feel, not to lead us. We lead our emotions. You do not follow your emotions. And the sooner you understand this, the better your life will be. The more solid, the more leveled, the more balanced of life you will have. And so he didn't do that. He went ahead and made a decision, and he made an irrational one. And he regrets it because he slept with his daughter-in-law. Verse 20 says, when Judah sent out the young goat by his friend the Adulamite to take back the pledge from the woman's hand, he did not find her. And he asked the men of the place, where is the colt prostitute who was at Enam at the roadside? And they said, no colt prostitute has been here. So he returned to Judah and said, I have not found her. Also the men of the place said, no colt prostitute has been here. And then Judah replied, let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at. You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her. About 3 months later, Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality. And then Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. As she being brought out, she sent word to her father-in-law by the men to whom these belong. I am pregnant. And she said, please identify who these are, the signet and the cord and the staff. And Judah identified them and said, she is more righteous than I, since I did not give her my son Shelah. And he did not know her again. When the time of her labor came, there were twins in her womb. And when she was in labor, one put out a hand, and the midwife took and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, this one came out first. But as he drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out. And she said, what a breach you have made for yourself. Therefore his name was called Perez. Afterward his brother came out with a scarlet thread on his hand, and his name was called Zerah. So that is chapter 38 of the book of Genesis. We've been reading Genesis for 38 days straight, and we're going to finish soon here. So I'm glad that you decided to go on this journey with me. If you'd like to support by subscribing, please subscribe. If you'd like support by becoming a patron, someone that actually gives $1, $5, or $10 a month to help me make these videos, I would very much so appreciate that. And I also add you to a prayer list so that I can pray for you personally every single morning. So until next time, we'll be reading chapter 39 when I see you again. God bless you. Peace.